The culture wars, they're everywhere. And I do mean everywhere. And we need to have a talk about the system and how the system works when it comes to the culture wars. You see, culture, as we've talked about before, is not complicated. It's simply what your society incentivizes and what your society disincentivizes. By the way, if my voice sounds weird, it's because I have a cough drop in, I'm sick, whatever, I'm playing hurt tonight. But anyway, culture. Now, how does the system work? What would the system do when it comes to culture? Well, for one, you need to understand what the system is. Longtime viewers of the show will already know. Your society, your whole country is held up by pillars, different pillars: religion, education, the government, entertainment. These are the things that hold up a society. Industry, business, private corporations. These are the things that hold up a society. And in an ideal country, these pillars are separate and keep one another in check. So if Joe Biden gets up and says the sky is green, immediately your media pillar and your education pillar and your entertainment pillar come out and say, no, it's not, you friggin' liar. You have actors going on Instagram, what's he talking about? Joe Biden's lying. You have professors teaching their students, see, son, this is a liar. The sky's obviously not green. We can look. Except in this country, we don't have that anymore. They all believe the same thing and they all work together. And so now there aren't any checks. And now everything becomes a supported effort. And this works very well in the culture wars. You see, Roe versus Wade got overturned. And there are a lot of reasons behind this, but there's something about abortion the communists love. They just love it. Now, you can explain this as they're murderers, because communists have always been murderers. They just don't care about human life. That's part of an explanation. But it's more than that. It's not that they're indifferent to abortion. They love abortion. They brag about it. There are all these groups with women bragging about how many they've had. It's become something that is near and dear to their hearts. So Roe versus Wade gets overturned, and all that does is return the issue back to the states. And so you've seen several states have banned it, some have partially banned it. Other states, the communist states, are going to allow women to just simply murder their child up to the age of 10, I'm sure, by the time we're done with this whole thing. But something very interesting happened. This is an example of how the pillars work together as one. After Roe versus Wade was overturned, guess what happened? You were watching TV. You're always watching TV. Entertainment, it is an important cultural pillar. Sports, movies, TV. In the old days, it was plays, things like that. Entertainment is, tiny tribes have them, big nations have them. Entertainment is a way people learn about their culture and their culture's values. When I was a child, my folks would have, all my cousins and aunts and uncles would come over to the house every now and then. And once the parents were all done with us kids running around outside, playing hide and seek, getting dirty, getting in trouble, they would bring us inside, only they wanted parent time, so they would kick us downstairs to the basement. We had this old TV in the basement. It was Friday nights. We did these gatherings on Friday nights. And we would sit down in front of the television set and we would watch shows like Family Matters or Full House or ABC on Friday night. And what was it? What was every show about? Values, right and wrong, do not steal, do not lie, this, good, bad, couple funny stories. That was the cultural values that you would see in front of the screen. Well, what your child and you see in front of the screen now is quite differently, because in the past year, well, since Roe versus Wade was overturned, at least 60 abortion plot lines, I gotta read this, or mentions of abortion in 52 different TV shows since Roe versus Wade was overturned, more than any year since 2016. And I'm not talking about news shows. I'm talking about Grey's Anatomy, Law and Order, Teen Mom. And guess how they're discussing the issue of abortion? They're discussing it as if it's the greatest thing in the world. So how does this work? What should you take from this? Well, a couple things. One, remember, the system locks shields and works together. Oh no, Roe versus Wade is overturned. Well, what do they do? Immediately they send the FBI out to arrest pro-life pastors, but also the entertainment wing gets in on it too. I'm sure the education system's getting in on it too. That's one way you can interpret this. Another way you can interpret it, both are accurate, is the communists, remember, He is a religious zealot. A religious zealot. Until you understand that, you will never get it. If you think he's just a liberal, he's just a Democrat, no. What you're doing is you're assigning to him the same value system you have. He's not just a liberal. He's not just a Democrat. He is a religious zealot. Like any Islamic jihadist out there. That's what he is. So if you're a writer for Grey's Anatomy, or Teen Mom, or Law and Order, or any one of these shows, you're one of the people who writes the show. If you were a writer for one of those shows, you would drive to work and you'd think to yourself, how do I make an interesting show? If it's a comedy, hey, do I throw this joke in here? If it's a drama, hey, what's a plot line that'll pull people in? The communist on the way to work is thinking, how can I spread communism? How can I spread my religion? He is purposeful with everything he does, including at work. And the scary part is we still support all this stuff with our dollars, with our time. And I'm not going to pass judgment on you. I never would, because I still screw up all the time with the things I do and things I watch and things I buy, and I'll find out afterwards, oh my gosh, I didn't know that company was garbage. I'm the most guilty person in the world, so I'm not judging you. But you still watching the NFL? Jesse, they're not kneeling for the flag anymore. They still have Black Lives Matter on their helmets. A despicable street communist organization that's claimed multiple lives in this country, destroyed how many livelihoods? They still have it on their helmets. They still have end racism in the end zones. I know, these are uncomfortable conversations because you love your team. Got the team jersey. Watch with the brothers, son, wife. Woohoo, love the game, pass the dip. I get it. I've watched more NFL than you have. I understand. This is how they get us. They spread the message everywhere. And it's more than just the FBI. It's more than just entertainment like TV and the NFL. They are mandating things at a state level to push back against our pushback, because the right finally is getting teeth. We are developing teeth, baby teeth right now, but we're developing teeth and starting to fight back and ban this here and fight against this there. Well, the communists are fighting back as well. In Connecticut, they are mandating that your child learn about climate change, man-made climate change in schools. Quote, the conservative turn in our country often starts at a very hyper-local level of local town boards of education. There is this push towards anti-intellectualism, anti-science, anti-reason. And I didn't want local boards of education to have the power to overturn the curriculum and say climate change is too political. You see, all those school board races were starting to win across the country, and we are. It's very exciting. It's very great news. The communist is not going to look at us taking back the school boards and simply shrug his shoulders and say, oh, well, we tried. The communist understands that's a critical part of culture as well. The education system, it has been the central pillar of communism in America that has helped them rip this country apart. They know it's so important to get to your child before you get to your child. They understand the power that comes from mom and dad dropping Aiden, Shaden, and Braden off at school for 7-8 hours a day, where they get to take you in and teach you whatever they want, even if it's not what mom and dad want.